Hello, Kate. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. I know you're all the way in Australia, so thanks for accommodating us this morning.
Thanks, Lisa. It's so exciting to be here.
So you and I have gotten to know each other through following each other on Instagram. We've done a little work together too. And so I know quite a bit about your story, but I always like to come into this from like the freshest eyes and just see what kind of conversation we'll end up having. And the first part of your story that I want to talk about is your marathon swimming. But let's back it up a little bit and just talk about where your life was at the time that you started taking up the swimming, and then we'll get into it a little bit more, in detail as we go.
Yeah. So I started ocean swimming about 11 years ago, and I was 38, 39 at the time. I had a 2 and 3 year old son and daughter. I was working in a quite a challenging property development. But I just at the time had this sense that, like most mums, I think, especially of young children, I wanted something for myself. And I'd recently moved to a house near the ocean. I was down at the beach one day going for a walk along the beach, and I bumped into somebody that was part of a swimming club. And I got talking to her, and she said, we're a swimming club. And I explained to her I'd always had this idea that I'd like to swim in the ocean, but had no idea that there were swimming clubs. So she invited me down to swim with the club the following week. And I went along and I jumped in the water with her, having not much clue what I needed to do apart from swim the stroke that I knew.
So
And I
you had
swam.
been a swimmer at least to some extent,
Look,
or would you call yourself that? Did you know how to swim well?
no, no. I mean, I'd done in Australia, we have swimming lessons when we're young, with, government run swimming lessons. So I'd done those. I'd lived around the beach. My parents had always taken me to the beach as a kid. And in my 20s, I did a little bit of pool swimming just for fitness. Uh, but I wouldn't have called myself a swimmer, no. Um,
Well,
so
when you
on,
say that, it's funny. The reason I'm asking, not to interrupt you, the reason I'm asking is because, I grew up around lakes, and we went to this
yeah,
creek every day as a kid. And I remember my dad trying to teach me how to swim. And I remember him saying to me, "Wow, you swim like a rock." And it was the way he said it, like with such excitement, just, kind of teasing me without me realizing it. I was quite young. And I was just like, thanks, Dad. And so I've just never have been a good swimmer, and I've been in water a lot. So that's why I wanted to differentiate between someone who's been around water and could survive like getting across somewhere to save their lives, but not necessarily a strong swimmer who'd maybe do well in the ocean or to take it up as a hobby. So you were good
yeah,
enough that that didn't seem like a big stretch.
yeah. I was good enough that I knew that I could swim,
Yes.
and swim quite confidently. But it wasn't until that first day that I swam with this new swimming club that I realized that I had a lot of work to do.
So you
So
get
I
into the
swam
water.
that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to differentiate that. So you get into the water and you're swimming, and how are you feeling about that? You're in the ocean in Australia.
Yeah.
So in America, we all always think sharks. So then I have to ask you if you've ever seen a shark out there swimming.
Yes, I have. I've seen them a couple of times
Tell me
where
about
I
that.
swim. Okay, so the first time I'd been walking on the beach, preparing myself to swim by myself, which I'd never done before. And I stopped at a certain point and saw a little bit of swirling in the water. And then there was some old blokes that they swim every day. They came toward me and I said, Guys, can I swim with you? Yeah, yeah, no worries. And I said, Oh, by the way, there's a little bit of swirling in the water here. And then I ran off to grab my goggles and my swimming cap. And by the time I came back, one of the guys had walked into the water only to be faced with a shark. He said it was a 3 meter shark. And so that was my first encounter.
Do you go out there and swim now, or do you just call it for the day?
I did not, no, but there's another man that swims down at my beach every morning. I think he's ex-Navy, and he goes out and paddle boards every morning. And I went to him and I said, we've just sighted a shark. Oh, it's just a shark. There's plenty of them here. Don't worry about it. And he jumped in and did his normal paddle board and swim at the end. So
Have you seen one when you're in the water?
yes. Yeah. So a few years after that, I was ending a swim with another woman in the club. Um, and we were swimming toward the pontoon where we usually just have a jump or a dive off at the end of each swim. And all of a sudden, there was a big fin that came. It was just there. And I just yelled at her to swim to shore. So both of us were basically Jesus walking on water
Just
to
trying
the
to get
shore.
out of that. And
Um, and the surf lifesaving people were there and they called up to the watchtower who looked out for the fin and never saw it again. And when you don't see a fin again, it's generally a shark. If it's a dolphin, you'll see the fin pop up again. They'll be jumping out of the water again.
so it's sharp. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in there that
Yeah.
first time, and that's something, I mean, if you're going to be a marathon swimmer in the ocean, you're just going to have to learn to live with that fear. And so you're in the water that first time, you realize that you need to be a better swimmer to be part of the club. But is that part of being part of the club? I'm sure not everyone
Not
starts
at
as great
all.
swimmers. Yeah. Yeah.
Not at all. No. So the club that I swim in, and probably most clubs, we have people in their 20s, and our eldest swimmer is a beautiful 79-year-old woman who is currently nabbing all of the prizes in the local swims, being the oldest swimmer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. There's a group here. I hang out a lot with 70 plus year olds in my mom's community, cards and golf and things. And one of them just had a birthday and they kept saying she's 29 with 50 years experience. So
Oh,
then,
how beautiful.
so then we went around the room to figure out, okay, 29 with how many, I'm 25 years experience of being 29 and kind of figuring out our math that way. I thought that was a very interesting way to look at it because everyone in the room had been 29 at some point. Just depends on how long.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to take that back to her,
You're
actually.
welcome. Yes, you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So welcome to do that. But so you're joining the swim club and you're feeling some dissatisfaction in your life. You're feeling like there's something more you need. So let's take a quick break and we come back. I want to know how that translated into how that really made a transformation for you in other areas of your life. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with Kate in just a moment. We're back talking with you, Kate Brookfield. So we were talking about how you are now a marathon ocean swimmer specifically. And so when you first started, you were feeling just wanting something more, like you said, for yourself as a young mom. And then you become a swimmer in this club. How long did it take for you to start to get the confidence you needed? And how instrumental was the club in helping you do that?
Mm. So straight away in those first few swims with the club, I just realized this place was something for me, and it instantly brought me joy and this feeling of satisfaction, and that I could do more with myself and my body. And so quite quickly, I started learning about the bigger swims that people were training for and entered myself in those. And with each bigger swim that I did, that sense of accomplishment just started giving me this beautiful confidence within myself, um, and started increasing and improving my own self-worth, proving to myself that I could learn something new, or I could become better at something that I already knew how to do. But yeah, just this, really the sense of confidence and sense of purpose as well started becoming a thing for me.
And then you're surrounding yourself with people who are, I mean, that's why I think it's such a good idea to sign up for like group excursions, things like that, when you're trying to meet people, whether it's a partner or friends, whatever it is, because you're just surrounding yourself with people who are doing what you like to do and
Mm.
have something in common with you. They might be there for a different reason. and they, might be having a different transformation, but having that commonality, especially in a hobby like that, that something that you're making time for, that's not necessarily always easy to accommodate, but you're there as a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. So the people that I swim with, I would call my second family now, because I'm swimming with them, 5 to 6 mornings a week throughout the year. And many of the people that I've swum with have swum rather large swims. So at the moment, I'm training for a 20-kilometre swim, which is called the Rottnest Channel swim. I think that equates to 12 to 13 miles for you. And many of the people that I swim with have done that swim. And over the years, they've just inspired me with their stories of their journeys of training to be able to do that swim. And I've just been listening to them and knowing that it'll become my time to do that swim. And I turn 50 next May, so
A
that's,
good reason.
it's my year. Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
what is the furthest swim you've gone on?
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
And
was the biggest part of the challenge, that was it the physicality or the mental preparedness? What was the most biggest challenge of it? The biggest challenge?
the mental, so the mindset, um, telling yourself that you are capable of doing it, you are worthy of doing it. Of course, the physical training as well, and you strengthen your body, you improve your stroke and your technique. But and particularly with the training that I'm doing at the moment, which is even more grueling than what I've done before. I spend many of my swims envisioning, what it'll be like to walk off the beach on the morning of a big swim, what it'll be like to be in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by thousands of other swimmers, when my body's sore, and perhaps my mind's tired, and what it'll be like to get to the other side and walk onto Rottnest Island, knowing that I've just been in the water swimming for 8 hours, or whatever it turns out to be, the longest swim that I've ever done before. Um, I think about the people that have inspired me to do this swim, and I think about myself as a person, how I grow, and strengthen my mind with every single swim that I do.
You seem a little teary-eyed just talking about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that it's my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like my heart is in the ocean. Every time I swim, I just feel so blessed to be able to do what I do. And anyone can do it. Anyone can swim. And I think one of the reasons I love the club that I'm in is because everybody's at different levels. Some people will never do the big swims, and that's okay. Some people um, just go for a little swim, but the bigger part for them is about the connection with the other people
Mm-hmm.
that they're
Now, one
swimming
time
with.
I had a
Yeah.
woman on my show quite a long time ago, and she had taken up figure skating. And she had never really skated, definitely not figure skating, and wasn't even really comfortable much with ice skating. So that's why I kind of compare it to what you're talking about. Whatever it is, it's this thing that she started doing, and she just started filming herself and got so, built her confidence over time, and watching those old videos to where she started out to where she is now and all that she's achieved. And then hearing her talk about, again, the transformation that happens in other parts of your life. It's just,
Mm.
I think anytime we can get good at something that we wouldn't expect to achieve, it has a ripple effect. No pun intended in your situation, but it has a ripple effect in other areas of our lives. I mean, and we don't go into it maybe thinking it will, but
Yeah.
it often does. And then it opens you up to these other possibilities. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll finish up. And I want to talk about the work that you do and how sometimes the work that we do not gets in the way of, but takes priority over the work we used to do that we now teach other people how to do. Right. Okay, we'll take a break and we'll come back.
Sounds good.
Kate, we are finishing up with you. We know that you're about to do the longest swim you've done, which could end up being around 8 hours, you said. And what a transformation. You've been in this swim group for 11 years approximately.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
wondered, we talked about how you talked about how it really gave you confidence in other areas of your life and created a transformation for you. And you also shared with me off camera that you worked in corporate leadership for a long time in a support role. And
Mm,
that just wasn't quite doing it for you. But
yeah.
it's also you were able to get trained in coaching too. So tell me a little bit about that and how that started, and then we'll get to where you are now.
Yeah, so I'd been in property development for quite a few years and transitioned to supporting a corporate leadership coaching and facilitation company running their programs for the corporates. And by the end of my time with that company, I'd been through separation and divorce, and I could just feel my heart speaking to me like there's something bigger, there's something more that I want to do. So eventually I trained with them in facilitation and coaching and went on to start my own business, um, coaching other women, in particular midlife women who are looking for more purpose and meaning and for their best work and career.
So I'd imagine, because I've seen things where there have been coaches who've asked me to be coaches on their team, two in particular, and very large coaching organizations. And a lot of it is about mindset and entrepreneurship and things like that. And uh, so that would mean that I wouldn't be able to do the coaching that I do in addition to the show. It would mean that I'm giving that part of what I do up. And focus solely on supporting that person's coaching business and the people in it. So it'd be rewarding. It'd probably be a little more stable. It'd probably be maybe predictable. Who knows? Somebody else scheduling for me, someone else doing this and this, and I would just have one role. But for me, that wouldn't do it for me either. And so when you're making the decision, you have this opportunity with the job you have, and it changed during COVID, right? So you
Yeah.
talk about that transition.
Yeah, so I lost my job with that company. COVID hit. We were running in-person programs, and no one understood that we could take these corporate leadership programs online. So I lost that job, and I ended up working for an American company actually, doing similar thing, but they'd worked out how to take everything, all of their programs online. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years, and having a great time in these transformational programs and seeing what is possible for people, um, what's possible within their own growth, particularly over Zoom. It's just phenomenal. But along the way, I have been coaching myself, but having this yearning to do much more in my own space and for my own business.
That's why I was getting to. I think that if that's what someone wants to do, then that's great. But for you, you were talking to me off air and just saying that that wasn't really working for you. And the transformation you were experiencing in the water wasn't really translating to the experience you wanted to have outside of the water, which,
Yeah.
who knew that the water would have such an impact on you, but it does make you yearn for a bit more.
Absolutely. And, part of that working for somebody else, I think, has been, whether it be my excuse, I've been single parenting. And so taking the somewhat easier option has been it. But I think through training for this bigger swim at the moment and building courage within myself, uh, I'm just feeling this sense of no, it's my time. Women need the essence that I have. They need what I can offer. So 2026 is where I breathe life into my own business.
In your 50th year.
Yes. Yeah.
In your 50th year. So when 50s are I think that every decade we can look back and see what that is. And I spent much of my time in my 30s and 40s as a single mom, like you, a widowed single mom, and just really focused on, what kind of time could I bring into our lives and how would that look? And then in addition to that, you think, okay, so now what? Like I'm an empty nester, and I've been an empty nester
Mm,
for my son graduated from college in 21. He's finishing his master's degree in May. He just bought a house. He's getting married. He's not coming back.
mm,
Not coming
mm,
back, which I've known he wasn't. He's always said, Mom, I won't live at home after college. Like, I'm not coming home. And that's just what he wanted to do for his life. And everyone has their own journey. But I think when they bought the house, I was like, okay, so they're not even going to come back to this town. Like
mm,
this is it. Like, what does this look like? And I think it
mm,
takes us a long time as moms, and I'm not a dad, but perhaps dads too, to start to feel like, okay, what does this life of mine look like? And how do I spend that
mm,
time? And I think that career wise, you and I both agree in that we have things we teach, we have things we've done, and now we can teach those things we've done. And I just think it's a natural transition uh, for my 50s to be spending time teaching people what I've done for the last 20, 25 years. I feel like it's
mm.
almost like if we can't teach that to the people who want it, then we just take it with us. And what good is that?
Yeah, Lisa, I agree. I feel like my 40s has really been about understanding what my purpose in this lifetime is. And I feel like stepping into my 50s is about bringing that to life because I don't want to die with my song left within me.
Mhm.
And I know that I have a song to sing, and my fabulous 50s is all about singing that song and bringing my work to the women that need it.
Mhm. And
Mm.
so when you make that transition, we just have a couple minutes left, just like a minute and a half. What is the part that you're most excited about?
Being more of me,
Mm.
being having the confidence to be more of me who I truly am, living with more joy, living even more aligned to my own values,
Mhm.
and connecting with the beautiful, beautiful people that I'm aligned with.
We got a little frozen for a second, so we're just finishing up now. I just wanted to say how much I've enjoyed getting to know you and your journey over time. And I love that you're with the like-minded people who are succeeding in and outside of the water. I always wish you safety and success in the water, especially with your big swim you have coming up. And I'll be watching to see all the things you accomplish in your 50s. So thanks so much for sharing it with us.
So much, Lisa, and thank you for the work that you do as well. It's just, you're supporting so many people that need your gift. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that our worlds
Yeah,
collided and met
really.
each other.
From
Yeah.
so far apart. All right. Take care, Kate.
Thanks, Lisa.